Hello there and welcome to today's video, which is another frequently asked question, and it's basically how do I keep my clay so clean and fingerprint free. So yeah, I thought it was about time that I made a video about it. I did make one years ago, but I've since deleted it because I think I could have made it a lot better, which is the case for a lot of my older videos. So in case you're wondering, I have deleted a few over recent times that I'm hoping to kind of remake at some point. But anyway, let's go over to my clay desk and figure out how to make polymer clay clean. So I'm at my clay desk now, and I think probably the easiest thing that I can make to demonstrate how to keep your polymer clay clean is a little snowman. So I've just got a selection of clays here, so I'm going to start with the whites, and I'm using Fimo Professional today because it's a nice pliable clay and it's what I use for most of my project work actually. So I'm just going to start by rolling that into a ball, and the first thing that I want to mention is I keep my scalpel nice and close, so whenever I'm prepping clay, if you pick up, you know, random little bits of airborne fibre or, you know, tiny bits of other coloured clay, it's best just to cut them out really before you go too far. So that's the first thing that I tend to do. And next up, I always have a wet wipe nearby, or certainly a pack of wet wipes, because, and it's probably difficult to see on camera here, you'll always pick up tiny bits of you know, fibres, dirt, debris. You can be as clean as you like as a person, or, you know, in your environments, and I do try to be, but it's always the way. You'll just pick up random bits and bobs. There's another one there. So I just really try and sort of prize those out. So there we go. And I think when people start working with polymer clay in particular, there's almost like a real reluctance to sort of touch the clay with wet wipes, but they're really the best thing that you can do. You can see there's a tiny bit of whatever that is there. So I'm just continuing to use the wet wipes, you know, constantly through sculpting really. And it's just something that I think you get used to doing. It's just really difficult, you know, to try and sort of be too prescriptive about what I'm doing. It's just a case of carrying your wet wipe with you whenever you go really. So that's the body. So now I'll work on the heads, and it's exactly the same. I just need to roll that into a ball. So there we go, I've got a ball now, and I can see tiny flecks on there. So I think even if you can't see the tiny flecks on camera, I think you get a gist of what I'm doing. It's really sort of continuously working with the wet wipe on the clay, just to ensure that sort of nothing's settling on there. And, you know, even if you get a few tiny flecks on your clay, I think it doesn't matter too much. You know, it's all about ensuring that your work looks handmade, because that's the charm of homemade work. So it's just as long as you've not got loads and loads of pieces of whatever on there really, because it can look a little bit careless. So just going to attach the two together. I would usually use some craft wire between the two elements here so that they stick well securely, but you know, it's only a demo today. So there's the head and the body. So now I need to make a little carrot, like so. I'll just put some little indentations in there so it looks more like a carrot. There we go. And I'll just pop in a little hole pop that in. And some tiny pieces of little bits of coal. There we go. And again, just really going over my work as and when I pick it up. So I've just got some dots of clay here, just to make a little mouth, really. Nice and easy. And again, just making sure it's nice and clean. So now I need to move on to the green clay to make a little scarf for my snowman, and whenever I use a new tool actually, and particularly the blaze cutting tool, I'll always give it a wipe down before I use it. So there we go, there's 2 strands there, which I think is all that I need. So I need to firstly pop one around the neck, and I just need to make 2 lengths of clay now. And I'll just make some fringing at the bottom, and I'll just pop those on like so. And if you find that you need to take an element off, and you've got some green pigment there, just a case again of going round with your wet wipe, just removing that, so it's not too much of an issue. And I'll just pop that on again. And there's the second one. And I might just pop some coal on his belly as well. And again, just go over with my wet wipe. And this should really help out with fingerprints, etc. as well. I'm kind of lucky in that I've got really shallow fingerprints, but they still end up on the clay sometimes, and it's just really trying to minimise those. But again, your work's handmade, so you're always going to end up with tiny little imperfections, so I honestly wouldn't worry about them too much, as long as there's not sort of loads on there. It's what makes it unique to you, really. And I'll just share one other tip with you. So what you can also do is use some rubbing alcohol. So I've just popped some onto this cotton buds or Q-tip, whatever you call them, and you can just use that just over the top like so, and that works both to remove debris and fingerprints as well. But to be honest, I rarely use this. I tend to be more one for wet wipes, but it's really down to you which method you prefer, or you can do both. So yeah, there's my little snowman. Well, I hope you found that useful and you feel a little more confidence in keeping your polymer clay work clean. Give it a like if you got this far on the video, and yeah, by all means let me know if you have a question that you'd like me to consider making a video about at some point, and I'll give that some thoughts. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.